Yes.
All right, cool. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, yes, thank you for having me. I met Miguel and Renata at the Kick Festival in Belgium last year. Absolutely blown away by your work. It's so cool, and you guys are like the nicest people ever. So it is like a very big honor to be here. So thank you. Today, I'll be walking through how I've been incorporating AI into my practice and how basically I just like keep it weird. But first, you're probably just like wondering who the hell is this McChick? So, hi, it's me. Some rapid fire fun facts. I love pop and by extension, internet culture. You can call me a millennial, but memes and GIFs are my love language. And making connections is one of my greatest joys, whether that is, user experiences or just a really good pun. By day, like they mentioned, I'm a designer on the Delight team on Google Search. We are a small team that gets to bring the element of surprise and delight to literally billions of people. I lead the Easter egg team, and our bread and butter are these like cultural zeitgeist moments. They're the things that are capturing the cultural conversation. So, great examples are Punch the Monkey, that we did some confetti for, stole everyone's heart. And then we also made the page shift in a 6-7 movement. My kid does that a lot too. 6-7. I won't do it. Anyways, they are a delightful little break from the ordinary, and they work because they feel like an inside joke or really like if kind of thing to our users. And they're just a really great reminder that there are real humans behind Google. That human first connection is also the same energy that I bring to my illustration practice. I am a professional drawer of butts, boobs, and farts. But I really do promise actually get briefs and paying clients. This is just a quick snapshot of some of the work that I've done. I've done work for a Scandinavian hotel brand. I've drawn juice boxes that are inspired by my kid. Even did some work for a coffee influencer. And generally, my philosophy on life is that I am here for a good time, not a long time. I think that's also a RuPaul Drag Race quote, but we might as well focus on the things that make us happy and have a little fun while we're here. I started drawing to honestly just like make myself laugh. I know I need to laugh at things because everything is a dumpster fire, and drawing is my outlet to just kind of fuck around, actually have some control in my life, and take a little mentee b, a little mental break sometimes from all of it. To keep it really brief, like drawing, to be honest, has not come easily to me. I've only seriously picked up drawing in the past like 8 or 9 years or so. I went to art school and all that, but I used to have this like giant mental block that art with a capital A needed to be this very serious thing, or dripping in symbolism. But it took me a long time to learn that there's a distinction between fine art and art that's meaningful. And the type of art that's meaningful to me and resonates with me now is a lot more playful. I like when work I can tell that that drawing made them happy. It just makes it so much more relatable, and human and just like weirder. And humans are weird. So it's just a great reflection of us. But actually, finding my medium was kind of trial and error. I guess you could have called me like a Goldilocks. I tried a few things out just to see what felt right. I first dipped my toe in with a set of watercolor and gouache paints, but I cannot tell you like how many pieces of very expensive paper I wasted trying to teach myself. So that was too hot. And then I tried hand lettering, which is really cool and I love it and I can appreciate it, but it was just a bit too rigid and methodical for me. So that was too cold. And then one day, I realized I collect a lot of these things. I'm a digital hoarder and I have this like dumpster folder of memes and GIFs that just sits on my desktop on my computer. And I just started bringing them into Adobe Illustrator. And like, I think in mindless meetings, I would just start like drawing and tracing over them. And I don't know, I just kind of loved what was happening. And the goal for me was to take these like shitty pixelated pictures and simplify them and really distill them down into like what I thought was the funniest part of them, just to make myself laugh. Until one day, a friend brought in his iPad and he had Procreate loaded on it, and I got to use the pen. And it was just so, it was a game changer for me. It felt just right. and not to use corporate lingo and jargon, but it really like unlocked art for me. Drawing became kind of this incredible outlet, a place where I could finally draw all of those little brain farts that I had. And the designer in me loved the digital tools. I love me some layers. Let me control Z all day. I didn't have to be precious about paper or drawing straight lines. I didn't have to scan anything in. And over the years, I started a daily doodle practice, and that was just like so great because it would just teach me to get my synapses firing. It taught me to embrace failures. And as a byproduct, kind of built up this body of work that I'm really proud of. And all of that really helped establish the beginnings of my style and my point of view as an illustrator. But that's when AI decided to enter the chat. And my reaction was a little bit like this. I don't know if you can hear this.
No, we don't hear
It's
it, but I
okay.
think I know what the sound is. Yeah.
It's Celery Man. I left the link up there if you want to check it out. It's really great. It's a vocal stem I reference a lot. But anyway, I have been around the block long enough to know that the only constant is change, and I have learned that in fact you can teach an old butt new farts. And I have lost count the number of times I've had to learn a new tool, a new process. There's always some friction at the start, but us creatives are a resilient bunch and we always find ways to adapt and make new technology work for us. I sit at the intersection of design and illustration, and it means that I spend a lot of time thinking about the future, especially with generative AI. To be fair, I get just as anxious about it as the next person. I'll crash out for sure. I am constantly wondering if it's going to replace us, if I will be out of a job, or will it truly empower us? But through all of my experimenting, I have been testing the real value of human expertise, taste, and intuition. And spoiler alert, I think they're still super valuable. And that is a whole separate talk in itself. But the TLDR is that the mindset I've kind of come to adopt is that, Gen AI is not this like execution engine designed to do the thinking for us, but it is a collaborative tool meant to kind of amplify real human self-expression, creative play, and visceral connection. And connection doesn't live in this like sterile, pristine output. It really truly lives in the mess. And the internet, is flooded right now with people forcing AI to look perfect and hyper realistic. But humans are not that, and we are not flawless. We are these like beautiful, wonderfully weird creatures, and our work should be too. So my entire practice is built on trial and error, just faffing about and making things weird. To really build a practice around this, I decided to train an AI model entirely on my own visual DNA. The whole process was the embodiment of one of my personal heroes, Bob Ross, and his philosophy of happy little accidents. The whole thing was kind of packed with these little happy accidents and lessons that completely reshaped how I work. And it turns out it's surprisingly easy to make your own model. You grab a bunch of samples from your portfolio, you throw them into a platform, and you just kind of fall into this manic loop of testing and iterating. I mean, it's like really easy. Here's a 5-second GIF of me making one. I have been using Exactly AI. Or Exactly.ai is the service. It's ethical, it's private. I completely own everything. It's artist minded. I think I took like 10 or 12 images. I just dumped them in, uploaded, and it was like, okay, wait, please wait. We'll get your model to you in 24 hours or something like that. So it was just super simple. Is all I'm trying to underscore. And I've made dozens of models over the years, and like a fine wine, they just keep getting better. Here is the same prompt from over the years. The left one being from my very first model on Leonardo.ai, and the right is where it's currently at. It's still kind of fucked up. Like we joke about AI hands and like hallucinations and everything. So definitely still have some problems there, but she has come a long way, baby. And in fact, throughout all of my model making, I have always had super low expectations. And I've really come to love the happy accidents that have come within. Every time I generate a new image, I get really excited to see how it's just going to like interpret my prompt. So, for instance, once I prompted topiary shaped like a poodle, and I'm thinking I'm going to get this bush in the shape of a dog. So, I was not expecting some doggy style stuff, but you know what? That's okay. That is a very happy accident in my book. And it turns out that something as inherently human as humor and puns are still not its strong suit, and maybe where we still have the upper hand. It's also pushed me to evolve my own style. My work has always been very simple line work and a limited color palette, but it has literally shown me how I can play with things like texture and color and shape in new ways that I hadn't considered before. I've found that throughout my process has changed and my role as well. I have become the curator, the director, the editor, really just injecting my own taste and intuition into the process. So it's no longer me against the machine, but really about what we could create together. Okay, next up is bypassing the blank page. I don't know about you, but my design brain always needs a little something to get going. So I use AI to kind of like kickstart my brain. I throw in weird random shit and let the AI do the heavy lifting. Honestly, it just like helps cure my decision fatigue and forces me to just get in there and start making things. To do that, one tool that I really like to use is called Text Effects by Google. It's text-based, but it's great for brainstorming. It expands the writing process by forcing you to kind of look at words and ideas from completely new angles. For example, I wanted to riff on some ideas for a hot dog character, so I just typed in human hot dog and it spit out this list of ideas here. I particularly like the idea of a punk hot dog with a mohawk, so I sketched it, and there she is. But this is also a good reminder that you definitely still need some human intervention with these results because you don't want to go full cannibal mode because it started spitting out like a human hot dog made out of humans, or a human hot dog that is made out of a real person who is being eaten alive, or just mentions of human flesh. It kind of escalated there and like got a little weird, maybe a little too weird for me. But in my model, I will just also type in weird shit too, like a mama and a baby bow taking a bath, a fuzzy caterpillar jumping rope, or a sentient birthday cake. But despite all of my best prompt engineering, I've found that the outputs are still kind of inconsistent. So instead, I've started to come to think of them as first drafts like these. And then I'll take those bits and pieces of outputs that I do like and use them as a reference, and just pretty much redraw them. I'll iterate on the layout, I'll bring in my own line work, and refine them to make them feel truly like mine. I think I mentioned up top that one of my favorite things to do is just find a meme and interpret it. But lately, I've been playing around with just tossing it straight into my model just for shits and giggles. So here is a very relatable meme I tossed in, dress for the job that you want. And here are the first drafts of that prompt. I thought they were beautiful. I actually couldn't just pick one, so I drew them all, and they were much more detailed in texture than I probably normally would have drawn. So I had a lot of fun infusing more of me into them. This is another fun example. This is far from just a Muppet. This is the muse of muses. This is Miss Piggy as the birth of Venus. When I tossed this in, the results were, in a word, iconic, obsessed, and baby doll. I don't really know what's going on here, but I really loved all of these different outputs, especially the middle one. I resonated a lot with her. I also started, thinking like it's giving Chapel Roan meets Miss Piggy meets Venus. I haven't done anything else with these, but I really should go through and I just was so delighted with just these outputs. I just left them as is. Okay, the next one is an actual real life client brief. I was working on illustrations for Chamberlain Coffee. The art director, this super cool Swedish dude in an agency in Stockholm, sent me like a dream brief. He wanted a hero illustration, and the brief was, an on-the-go working dog, and that was basically all that he said. I had this crazy deadline. They were like 7 hours ahead of me in Sweden. It was a weekend. And I had no idea what kind of dog to draw. So it was just like, but honestly, my model came in so clutch just for this reason. I was able to do rapid concept exploration. I tried out tons of different dog breeds, different poses and crops. Took these outputs, redrew them, picked the pieces I liked, and put together a couple options. And this is where we, after a few rounds of back and forth, we landed on this guy. So, that was super fun. And then, I rinsed and repeated for a few other characters to represent other different coffee flavors. And then midway through the project, I don't know, you've probably experienced this. We pivoted, of course, changed our minds, changed the direction. Too many cooks in the coffee kitchen, I guess. But my model came through for me again because one of the characters was meant to be a salamander for matcha, naturally. But it helped me come up with different poses for that character. And then we wanted to go in a more anthropomorphic route. So my model helped me with different moods and expressions of the salamander. We did it a few more times. This time was for the honey flavor, lots of variations there and back and forth. I'm omitting the rounds of feedback via text message and literally scribbles, but I never signed I never signed an NDA. So all that to say that working with them was an experience. But we finally landed on something, and now it's out here, out in the real world. You can actually go and get your own bag of it. I think it's at Whole Foods even. But I don't see any proceeds from it, but you could have your very own Mick bag if you really wanted, apparently. Okay, continuing on. At large, my entire creative process is built on this kind of like yes and mindset. If you've ever done improv, instead of settling for the first idea, I like to try to push past the obvious. So I treat it like an improv scene, just constantly throwing unexpected things at it until it lands somewhere kind of weird. To practice this, I regularly use an app called Doodle Draw. A plug for that. It's a great app. It pretty much just gives you a new blob form to draw on top of every day and inspire you. So I will take whatever it gives me that day and draw what inspires me on top of it. So I try really hard to just draw the first thing that comes to mind. Sometimes it takes squinting at it or kind of turning it upside down. But once I get an idea, I will try to challenge myself and ask myself, like, how can I yes and it? So going with whatever first I saw and trying to introduce something unexpected. So for instance, if I see a crocodile in that blob shape, I will ask myself, how can I yes and this and add something expected or unexpected? What if it is someone baiting the croc with a croc? I'm sorry, it's like so stupid. It doesn't always work, but it is a good game for myself and it makes me laugh. And if it doesn't work visually, then I will try with copy. So for this one, I captioned it Woof Pack because I love puns. Sorry. For this one, I drew a cat on a vacuum and I said, conquer your fears. This one is a vampire looking at himself in the mirror, practicing positive affirmations. And one of my personal favorites, this is Mr. Burns devouring his Smithers, inspired by Saturn devouring his sun by Goya. But when I feel stumped, I go to Gemini. I built a custom gem trained specifically to think like a dry, witty New Yorker cartoonist with a little bit of a mixed spin. I'll feed it an illustration I did and let it spit out ideas to see what clicks. But again, this is just a gentle reminder that some human moderation is a good idea. So the drawing on the right was the drawing of the Scream in their underwear. True. It gave me the gem gave me the horror of free balling at the bus stop. I actually was more proud of the human one I made that just said it was all a Scream. But again, your mileage may vary. Okay. And then lastly, a lot of the method to my madness is just fucking around and finding out. So in this brand new world where capabilities of AI feel endless, possibly overwhelming, a lot of it is just me playing around and kicking the proverbial AI tires. Like asking Gemini to transform one of my doodles and just see what happens. So I uploaded it and said, transform my image. That is literally all I said. No context, no extra prompt, just seeing what it'd give me. And she went swimming and I love it. It's perfect. So I kept going. I grabbed a bunch of old drawings. These are some more of my favorite ones. And I just loved trying to bring them to life a little bit. I think they're so fun. They're little animations that I could never have done myself. I'm not, unfortunately, a motion designer or an animator. So just, yeah, was really happy with them. And then here's me playing around with one of my drawings. I don't really remember exactly what I was prompting, but I remember I just started morphing it over and over again and just like re-uploading and morphing and stuff. And I don't know what I'm doing, but making it 3D kind of felt really cool in a weird, like fucked up way. So I kept doing it and I loved playing with it. And then Flow and Omni just dropped from Google Labs last week. So I've been playing with even more 3D stuff. It's been really fun to see my drawings come to life. Pixar, eat your heart out. I've been playing with them as 3D clay and plastic renderings. Again, something I probably could never do myself unless I had a million hours to do it. Here's my son as a bumper car. I loved the texture in this one. I don't know, it was just super fun the way that it interpreted it. And then, oh, this is another fun one I loved. I drew this little evil cat lady, but I guess we got to keep it kind of googly. In my opinion, she's not mean enough looking, but maybe she's a little too wholesome, but I think everything else they nailed pretty well. And so here's just a final walkthrough of my flow. I found this really stupid meme out in the wild of an alligator on an alligator floaty. I plopped it into my model. It was terrible. I mean, it had its beginnings, but it was pretty bad. So I redrew it. I love where it ended up here. And then I told Gemini to animate it. And, I thought while I'm out here, I'll just throw it into Flow to model it really quickly. And then I went back into Gemini to animate it. And now we're on a journey here together. We're just flowing through life as alligators. So, all right. To wrap us up, at the end of the day, I believe that art, however you choose to define that, is a very basic human need. We all have this innate drive to create, share a perspective, and to build something out of nothing. AI is fantastic for making the first move or just being a very supportive partner. It can get you off the ground, it can spark an angle, or just break that blank page for you. But that initial spark is only the start, and it's ultimately up to you to make things weird. The magic doesn't happen in the prompt. The magic happens when the human stays firmly in the loop. Your taste, your human perspective, your personal struggles, your own internal weirdness, that is what injects actual personality into the final piece. AI might give you the scooter and the bags, but only you can make the goldfish fly. So with that's it. That's all. I'm done. I'm out. So, yeah, I just say go out, go have fun with it is basically what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mick. It was amazing. Only in 22 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll post slides too if anybody wants to look at them.